So after getting decimated by Saitama, I thought it was great to just take a step back, really recoup, find more calm, some may say tranquility. So you may think that I went and meditated, I went on a hike, went on a journey to find my true self. No sirree. I decided to look into the magical index units. We now have the information on the final two characters. This is a 4-character crossover, and the final two are going to be Index and Accelerator. These two characters I really didn't have like high hopes for, because the first two, they were pretty solid, but I definitely were like, is this going to be a crazy crossover? Is going to be some meta breakers in here? Just like overall, just good characters that have some pretty unique designs, fun kits, and they'll be solid for a while. And I definitely see that Magical Index as a crossover are offering just 4 characters that can fill a bunch of different roles, and some of these roles are very meta, especially Accelerator, which is going to be the first character I want to talk about today. Accelerator is actually a dark human that is a breaker. Now, he is a breaker, but he's also an arch-genner and a damage dealer. If you look over his kit, his skill does absolutely nothing. You have an art that buffs up super art damage, dark allies get more. You have a true art that's arch-gen for your entire team, 5 arts per second, by the way, and break res 50%. The break res is really nice, and it comes into play with his super art and pretty much the rest of his kit, because he has overall high break values, but that super art's going to be hitting insanely hard in terms of the break, because if a boss is not broken, you buff up your break power by 300%, and he already has a base of 8k break. If you use this super art though, whenever the boss is broken, you double the damage multiplier of your own super art. Not to mention too, if you break the boss, you now have a brand new passive ability that's unique to Accelerator called One Way Road. When the boss is broken for 30 seconds, not just during the break, but for 30 seconds after the initial break, you increase all allies' arts by 5, and everybody gets a 300% damage buff. That's ridiculous. I feel like this is going to be easily one of the best characters to use against any fight that you need to break against. I don't see why you wouldn't run Accelerator unless the boss was countering humans or they were countering like dark units. But in any type of content where you want to break the boss, I feel like Accelerator is going to be one of the must, kind of like how Chloe was. I think I still prefer Chloe's 200 art gauge with a 300% damage up is really strong. And who's to say you don't use both them on the same team? Nothing's stopping you from running a Chloe Accelerator comp. You can further increase that comp by running Chloe, Accelerator, and Arthur. Well, Arthur won't stack Archgen with this guy, but resets all physical equips, so maybe you can get a little bit of a break loop going. Accelerator does have a true weapon, which is called Accelerator's Crutch. It just reduces dark res, but it does have a pretty high break value on it at 6k. It also does buff up his break power by 50% and his art gauge. Gonna be one of his best in slots here. However, I do have some gripes about this kit. For one, I don't like his equip slots. He has 2 magic and 1 physical. For a breaker, magic is getting a bit better with some of the newer equips we've gotten in GS, but still magic slots just aren't there yet compared to physical slots. And I would have loved if Accelerator's Crutch was a magic item instead of this physical item, so that way we could use the physical item for something else. Because for right now, like, the only few items that are coming to mind that can maybe be used in that magic slot as a break item is going to be like Marika's true weapon. That's going to be something that's like readily available pretty much to everyone, because even when it comes to the gacha equips from this crossover, we actually didn't get a break item, surprisingly. So I think it's going to kind of struggle in that 5-star magic slot, especially the 4-star magic. It's going to be really hard to find something for that one as well, unless you were here doing like seasonal events and stuff. In terms of like different teams, we already talked about Chloe and Arthur, which I think are going to be really good with him, especially Chloe and him. But mainly anyone else is able to buff up break power, or even like using various items on the team that give you like a substantial break power increase would be really good here. One thing I'm curious about is how often are we going to get breaks with Accelerator, just like almost insta breaks, because the faster you're able to break a boss and just get that 300% damage up on your ability is going to be really nice. Another thing to mention too is that since his skill doesn't have any art gauge in it, I'm wondering how you're gonna get enough archgen to be able to use his super art again before the boss's break gauge is completely full, because you are gonna want to use that double super art multiplier. Another thing is that he doesn't have any kind of defense ignore or crit rate in the kit, so that will have to be provided to him. Overall though, Accelerator looking pretty good. I like him. I'm actually really excited to have him on global and finally be able to use him. I'm just hoping that we get a bit better break magic items in the future. Like, we need kind of like an influx. These need to be a lot more readily available. Next, next is Index. Now, Index was a character that I didn't want to say was like bad or anything, because I don't think she's bad at all. But I just find Accelerator a bit more interesting than this one. Index has a lot going for her. For one, she's kind of this healer support type character that's able to give your team art gauge, you're getting DR, you have heals, and even a higher damage up if you are advantageous against the element you're fighting against. She's able to reduce the enemy's magic res based on the number of magic slots on your team. That's pretty interesting. That hasn't been done before, and that's kind of crazy because if you factor in Index and you also factor in the character that came out from part 1, you have already 160% magic res down with just these 2 units. In terms of her ability, she has her own unique ability, which just gives everybody on her team that's a light ally art gauge as long as she's not in the status effect. In terms of the true weapon, it's a magic item. It's reduce the enemy's light res if you're human, reduce the enemy's damage res as well. And the passive, you get more art gauge and more heal amount, which is not too bad if you are using her as the main healer. She seems really strong as well. It's just, how many times would you want to use a team where this character is just going to be, oh, I'm here for crazy magic deeps and I'm going to make your magic equips faster. Granted, she also does give DR. I think the hardest thing though is that I feel like mono light magic doesn't have too many characters, because the only ones that come to mind right now are Misaka, Star God, and those are like the 2, I would say, extremely strong magic damage dealers at the moment for light. For the most part, I think mono light magic needs a bit more work if we're focusing only on that. If we focus more on like magic as a whole, I think it kind of opens up the playing field a little bit, but not to an insane amount. Either way, even if it's not extremely apparent now, I know that there will be a team that comes out for Index that allows her to hit like 300% or more magic res just from her super art, and then you factor in like all the other debuffs you'll have on a boss, you could probably see some of the hardest bosses in the game just crumbling under this. I think more so than anything though, this character is going to be really good just as kind of this more support type character. For right now, she just seems like a really solid character. And ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all I have to say about Index. I'm really looking forward to Accelerator from this crossover. I think he's probably the one that I want the most out of all the units. He's definitely on my wish list. We'll have to see if there's any mainstays by the time this gets on global. Maybe there's going to be some content that comes out in JP that one of these units are going to be insane in. But for right now, I'm just seeing some really strong characters that can make some very fun teams. But hey, you guys heard my thoughts. I would love to hear all your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, I recommend check out this video right here popping on my screen. It's actually a live stream and it's me summoning for Saitama. If you missed that, go check it out. It was an experience to say the least. But before you leave, don't forget to drink water.